I mean, I know somebody told this at some point, but this has to be like told as a joke time and time again. Antifa no hate movement is a hate movement, okay? But the way the irony works, they're full of hate, right? So when they feel that they can release that hatred, they're sort of solving the problem, right? It's fucking weird. It's just fucking weird. It's ironic, but it sort of makes sense, right? You're full of hate. Well, if you're making a no-hate movement, you can either attack hate or non-hatefully. But what's going on? It's a movement to release hatred, to find people to hate on. Literally. Fuck this shit. This is why Antifa is so disgusting, because it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. It's trying to do the opposite of what it says it's trying to do. So until they recognize how to be honest, we cannot support a group like this, okay? One interesting thing that I'm gonna bring up again. Am I a leftist speaker? Or am I a right speaker? I'm actually saying I'm ultra left. I actually support these guys because I understand where it comes from. And I understand that the society needs leftism, I suppose, but leftists don't have speakers. So the only thing that you're gonna find on the internet are the right-wingers, right? And everyone is like, oh, a lot of people on the right support left. I mean, Stefan Molyneux or support Jordan Peterson. Oh my God, we need to shut them down. That's what's going to happen. We're literally collecting, as I said, this is a battle royale stage. We're collecting a bunch of heads that can represent other people. But I have never seen this coming, where these heads is just like a Hunger Games scenario where you pick up Alex Jones and you shut him down. You know what's going to happen? People are going to be scared. People will no longer have their voice. They're going to run away from YouTube. They're going to run away from this zombie apocalypse places, right? Where the zombie apocalypse is spreading. But what I say as an advice, stay here. Stay where you are. If you can survive this without running away anywhere else in some remote island where zombies are never gonna come, you know they're never gonna come. But you might just kill yourself at this point. There's so much resource. Once you survive the zombie apocalypse, there's so much resource, there's so many friends that you can make. And you can build your own platform at this point. If big guys run away because they're attacked from all sorts of different directions, and they're responsible for a lot of people, how can they survive? They have to move away from these zombie infested places. So right now, they're collecting their people and they're moving to other platforms. The YouTube is being infected, as you can see. You can sense, right? You can understand that. We are already trying to survive. We already need advices like this. So, this is what I'm gonna do, right? Stefan Molyneux is a big threat to me because I am sort of attached to him right now and watch his content, and he sort of said he almost got deleted from YouTube. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. He almost suffered the same fate as Alex Jones. And again, this is spreading. It's faster than I thought. Jeez, but it's supposed to be pretty fast. And it's not even the apex of the thing. We just gonna... It's kind of like the 6th year. So maybe one more year and it's gonna be ridiculously hard to survive. Maybe even PewDiePie himself will be shut down. Like, think about the consequence of that. It's unlikely. PewDiePie actually plays around the rules well enough. He understands how the system works, how socialism works. It's mostly these guys who are switching sides right now. Right, again, we're switching from 1.4 to 3.3 into 4. What that means, we're changing our focus from the big guys to people who have authority. So that's sort of gonna create a scenario where we have to shut him down, almost forcefully at this point. There's some weird stuff that I can speculate about, but I can see it. I'm just saying what I see, and I've seen the same video that inspired me to mention Antifa in the beginning. The same video showing a picture of 3 Americans basically having privilege to look good, basically, right? They probably were born in some middle class families and they have a good life, and they post a picture that seems nice, and people hated it because people hate stuff that's nicer than them, and that people had opportunities that they didn't have. That is really awful. When you don't have opportunities and other people do, when other people born in better conditions than you do, obviously they're going to be jealous, and you're going to point the finger into injustice, into the privilege. And privilege, you know, it has been used in sorts of different contexts, but the idea is like it's unfairness. You're trying to understand what unfairness is. If you're born somewhere and you want to play with other kids, you better be fair. If you have a lot of, if you're a rich kid, right, you got to share your toys, basically. You got to bring in the toys to the society. And it's not a communistic way. The socialistic way is sharing, right? Is distributing wealth. The communism is you take how much you need. It's a different thing, right? Is Antifa communistic? I don't know. They have been tagged that way, but I don't think so. We'll see. A lot of people who have hatred within them, they're communistic by any means. I think the interviewer who attacked Stefan Molyneux for his followers, what kind of followers he has, is also communistic in a way. They called soy boys or whatever. They're just not relevant in today's society at all. They're not even wingmen for anyone. And being a wingman, I'm going to introduce you guys to the power structure. So on the top we have Americans, the water tribe basically. And again, I just look at the same clock and I'm like, oh, this works. Then you have Chinese. Basically Chinese are also wingmen for Americans. They sort of create, they let Americans have debt and not self-destruct completely. Because America is actually pretty useful. This is how I see it. I do see that Americans are sort of dependent on Chinese either pressing or not pressing a button, and America will just fucking disappear. Because Americans are a shit country, but they give you a lot of good things because they're so socialistic, because they're so diverse, right? I think, yeah, there's that ultimate conspiracy that America doesn't even exist. It's just sort of a playground that can be shut down any moment. The Chinese, like a father figure, can just press a button and you guys not gonna play in America anymore. We're gonna shut it down. It's a very violent place. You're gonna get a boo-boo in America. I'm not sure what the Jews... I'm not sure what kind of juice I drink. Is it a conspiracy? Should I mention about them? I don't know them. I just drink juice, okay? I like Not apple juice, just orange juice. Like, simple, right? Don't shut me down, please. Please don't do it. I'm trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse, so they say don't mention juice, just drink juice, okay? Just promote juice, okay? And I also wanted to mention YouTube's algorithm. Is very interesting how algorithms work in the first place. The way that I code my engine, I start to understand that yes, algorithms are useful because what they do, they take a bunch of votes, or in this case, in many cases, is information. But naturally, it's just human input, right? You write a bunch of poetry, the computers read through the poetry, they try to understand the patterns, and then they sort of create the random poetry until that poetry sort of follows the rules, and then they, you have a result of the algorithm. So that's how algorithms are supposed to work. They're supposed to take a lot of inputs and give you outputs. And in between, they sort of just try and do the best they can reading patterns. But humans are much more important in reading patterns than some algorithms. Now, I'm not sure if algorithms are going to be capable of presenting patterns that they read. That is insane to think about. That algorithms will become storytellers at some point. It doesn't make sense. What I think is going to happen, we're going to realize that algorithms are not good. That it's better to just, let's take an example. I want to make a grass texture. So I can look at the grass, I can figure out what kind of patterns it follows, or I can let the algorithm decide as it looks in the grass as well. And we sort of come up with a similar conclusion. Maybe the algorithm is going to do it faster and a little bit better. But the idea is that if I figure out the patterns myself, I'm also capable of teaching those patterns to other people. And I'm also capable of explaining what those patterns even are, and how I see it, and what kind of experiences I've collected together. All of these things I can sort of organize what algorithm is never going to do. And this is what I think, what really describes a water algorithm and what the biggest flaw is that it cannot teach anyone else what it has learned. It's like a little child. It learns some amazing things, some amazing talents, but isn't capable of teaching anyone else of how to do it and how to even appreciate the art itself. So that's the biggest flaw, which is why algorithms are not going to be used in the future too much. Maybe we're gonna find, but it's not going to take over the world. The AI is not going to take over the world. There's nothing there. But the reason why I bring up YouTube's algorithm is that, again, it's missing the same thing as I mentioned in Alex Jones' video. It is missing people's input. I think it's, at first YouTube was looking at likes and dislikes and it's like, okay, that is important. But then there's another thing that is also important, is watch time, right? That's also important. So which one to prioritize? Now YouTube prioritizes watch time. But likes and dislikes are also incredibly important input, which gives people the power to vote something up or down. It's literally what Reddit is made out of. And from my experience, anytime I post anything on Reddit, people look into it. And it's almost like people expect public service in Reddit. People expect to eat something up in Reddit. It's just some weird platform in there. I'm just confused on how to use that platform, because I'm gonna get attention, but at the same time, that attention sucks because people will dislike me instantly. That's usually what happens. And I'm not sure how to balance that because I'm not a perfectionist. There's another growing problem The school system, that's another thing that I want to talk about. It's bigger than flat Earth. It's bigger than bullshit of science and other fields of thought that school promotes. But again, let me finish the YouTube thing. So YouTube either prioritizes likes and dislikes or watch time, but the idea is that these are four camps, right? You can agree, disagree, you can watch or not watch. These are the same two binary things that create personalities in the first place. So if you kind of identify a personality, but not necessarily, let's say, if you identify a choice, because personalities are huge choices, but you can make small choices. In watching a video, you can decide out of these four directions whether you're going to watch it and you're going to enjoy it, or you're going to not enjoy it and watch it anyways. But how does that work, right? How can you not enjoy something and watch it? Well, the not enjoy, you don't approve it. You don't approve this content, but you sort of see the entertainment value, right? There's all sorts of trash like Rebecca's Friday. We all know that part. And it's sort of spiraled out into a weird side of YouTube where there's a bunch of content which you don't approve, but you will still watch it. So YouTube sort of promoted that type of content now, but it's also going to shut down this eventually, supposed to. Because again, it's not the watch time that matters, it's the people's approval that matters. And it could be interpreted through watch time as well, but those two things have to be considered simultaneously. Again, I'm not sure exactly what the solution is, but if you press a like and you don't watch a video, like, it shouldn't make a big difference as if you watched the video in its entirety and you pressed a like or a dislike, then it makes a big difference. I think there's something there that needs to be investigated. But again, if you watch the entire video and you press a dislike, that shouldn't also make a big difference. It should make a big difference when you don't watch the video and press a dislike. These are the fire and earth, basically, situation where you have a passive approval or an active rejection. Those two things that really matter, that take a lot more effort to actually recognize, or a lot more like it's hard to explain. But again, all these four elements exist, and that's all the YouTube has to recognize instead of prioritizing certain elements, which it does. And the worst part of all is, like, if YouTube doesn't even know how the algorithm works, okay, you gonna survive YouTube, your own created apocalypse? I don't think so, but I'm staying here because there's a lot of value to be gained. Again, if we're surrounded by zombies, we're also surrounded by friends who we need to rescue, okay? And once we rescue them, we're gonna be really friendly with each other. Once we find each other, we're gonna be real good friends, okay? That is no doubt. And so there's a huge opportunity for growth in an environment like this, especially when big guys who you relied on so much are getting shut down, and you have to make a choice where you're going to stay here and keep on pushing your content even with the risk of being shut down. But the idea is what Alex Jones got. He got a lot out of being shut down. And everyone is... because of this risk, you will get a lot for staying and promoting whatever ideas you have. It's interesting, right? I'm sort of promoting leftist ideas, essentially. I can say, oh, I'm a communist, but that's my entire personality's that way. So I don't know. I don't know what their ideas are, because again, I haven't noticed leftist speakers in the first place. Now the school system is, I'm gonna finish off the video here. I'm still thinking what I'm gonna do with Lauren Southern. Cause she left YouTube basically. Like, what the fuck? What just happened? Stefan Molyneux almost shut down. Lauren is leaving YouTube to do documentaries instead. Now, Lauren has a personality in a way that she was burning herself up, and it's natural for her to try to put out the fire and just go on her way. And that blew my mind because it completely defeated me, right? I wanted to attack Lauren, and she was completely defeated at this point. I consider that a defeat, because if you say, "Oh, I've told all the truth I wanted," like, that's kind of stupid. Maybe I'm gonna learn something from her, but reading her book, I just couldn't find anything useful, to be honest. I didn't even like reading it. Okay, maybe it's because of that, but it was a good intro. I can tell you that much. Anyways, there's a school system, a huge problem, again, bigger than the flat earth, and scientific nonsense is the idea of cheating, I think. The idea of looking for better grades instead of better results, right? Better ways of thinking, of better experience in relationships is like, whoa. People's priorities are so messed up after they leave the school. They're so messed up. They don't even realize they hate school for various reasons, but they don't even realize that what they have survived through is just basically this soup of storytelling. It's not just flat earth, it's a lot of things that we believe in for no reason. We have no direct experience in what we believe in most of the time, and that is the worst thing to inject into someone that's supposed to live in a society in the first place. Schools are sort of socialistic in a way, because they pull groups of people and you get experience of that, of diversity basically. You're sort of forced into that system. But yeah, this cheating that's going on, this perfectionism, trying to be professional. But again, the problem is that cheating is all about dishonesty. You're trying to do good, but in the back, you're being completely dishonest. You're just trying to make an image of yourself that sort of works, that sort of gives you a good grade, that sort of gives you approval. And I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I'm gonna investigate further. I feel like this is like the craziest thing ever. There are other crazy things like the probation, that every business has to be probated. Again, you can imagine the power structure. You have a little bit of authority, you have a little bit of people that you take care of. Let's say in a business, you manage people basically. You're not the worker type, you're not ground zero type, but you have a little bit of authority. And then you can go level 1 up and have authority over those people. You basically control the business at that point. And then you can go 1 level up again and you can control the businesses, and then you can go the highest level, which is controlling the entire system. And this level system is also very interesting. Again, you have America on the top, you have Chinese that America depends on, you have Russia. Russia is a weird thing. Like, a lot of people say in the conspiracy world, oh, Russia is gonna throw EMP, but Russia's actually fears EMP more than Americans do. You know what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna freeze to death. Right? Americans celebrate when they find snow in their lives, right? When it's snowing, they celebrate. When snowing in Russia, you better fucking have electricity or you die. You better have a lot of beer and electricity. That's what it is. Right? You better have a lot of friends, beer, electricity. Okay. So EMP would just completely destroy, wipe out Russia, and most importantly, the chaos spreads in Russia faster than anywhere else. If there's any chaos in there, oh God, everything burns down really quickly. Chernobyl style, basically. So don't worry about Russians, Americans. Just keep on surviving, because yeah, it's almost like America doesn't even exist. And in 50 years, if America survives 50 years, that would be fantastic. That would be a miracle. If America's, yeah, just like I said, it's a playground. The Chinese says, well, you can play. Just be nice to each other. Be very nice. Okay. So the probation, I'm not gonna disclose too much. It's a very interesting concept. How every business requires sort of inspectors, sort of people who investigate. And that's the job of women, mostly. Like, this parallel, it's just mind-blowing. The way that you go up on the pyramid and you actually encounter more and more women because you become a more moral of a person. Just weird, very weird. So, and there are different levels as well. Some people realize, oh, I'm never going to become an authority figure. Oh God, there's so much. The subscription scams, the Gong Pro problems. A few things about the work, how the green light system's supposed to work, that if you don't like the work that you work in, people have to take care of you and make sure that you like, because you're not inputting in enough effort in that case. If you do something that you don't like, that is not good. That is really not good. People should put as much effort into putting people in comfortable places as much as possible. But again, it's a system that, you know, you need to feed back to whoever is responsible for you, and they have to take care of you. The workers are pretty much under attack in a way, because the system is still stupid. I mean, you can think about automation all you want, but the system has to change entirely. The system that rewards for hours worked instead of effort is the worst. Non-gamified work, the work that's not fun, but really strict and focused on safety instead. This is what we need to elevate first, I think. There's a lot of suffering in there, and if you really want to fix the expression of emotions that people have clogged up in themselves, this is one of the big things to pop, is the work that they work, and improve upon that. So we'll see. Again, gaming has brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, but we sort of have to share that joy with everyone eventually. That's another thing, because we're just looked at as lazy people at this point. Like, jeez, give me a break. I'm gonna get that criticism eventually, but you have no idea how wrong you are. Anyways, 30 minutes is not what I intend to do, but sometimes I have to. Yeah, just remember to stay in YouTube. See you guys next time.